Yeah.
You know, I mean,
but look, here's what I'll tell you. Have you gotten any alien stories?
yes.
So one thing that I get really frustrated by, right, is whenever motherfuckers in Idaho are like, oh, dude, the aliens came to our fucking like corn crops, came for our corn crops or whatever. Like that's where they landed. It's like, no, they did it. Like if you're going somewhere, if you're going to land somewhere and you're like this fucking, this being, first of all, I don't believe that aliens could like take physical form that we could comprehend. I think it's like more of an interdimensional thing.
I kind of am with you there recently.
Yeah.
But
Like, I don't think they're like fucking, anatomically similar to humans in any meaningful capacity, but like gray or whatever. I think that's bullshit. I think that's like man being so nearsighted and so selfish and self-entitled that we think that like aliens would resemble us in any meaningful capacity. I think we can't comprehend them even. Like, they're not even like colors and shapes, right? So that's number one. Number two, I hate when motherfuckers are like, oh no, they came to Idaho. No, they didn't. Even if they were anatomically like similar to humans or whatever, and they had like obviously brain processing capabilities enough to literally like travel through space and time, okay, to get the planet Earth, they're going to New York. They're not
you're
going
being
to
a
Idaho.
coastal elite about the UFOs.
100%.
They're going to Times Square.
No, they're going exactly. No,
They're
and
going to
here's why.
clandestinos?
Here's why. Because like to aliens, we're like ants, right?
Yeah.
Like if they have that level of technology, we're like ants. They didn't accidentally stumble across our planet. They already have like incredible technological capabilities, right? They probably have like civilization destroying weapons like that they could easily use or whatever. But even if they didn't have any of that shit, they would still go towards the form of light where all the light is, or where all the human beings are. Like if they have a processing power to figure out like where the living, breathing organisms are, they would go to an area where everyone is at. They wouldn't go to a fucking cornfield in the Midwest because no motherfucker lives there. And if the argument is like, well, they're trying to hide themselves, right? They're trying to hide themselves from like the rest of the population. It's like, well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like they're so powerful. Like you don't want to hide yourself from an ant. You don't give a shit.
Or maybe there's like a reason they're there that we just don't know. Like, I mean,
Oh yeah.
well, no, I mean like they seem to be like, I've heard that they concentrate around like nuclear facilities. Like,
Ooh, I like that.
yeah.
Okay.
So
That-
I mean,
I'll work with
like,
that.
There could be, I mean, we don't know where. There's probably secret military like nuclear facilities we don't know about. Theoretically, I mean, shouldn't there be? Like, it would be kind of bad if everybody knows where they are. But I mean, that would be interesting. Also, it would be a little comforting because it's like they're probably concerned. Like, they're probably checking in and be like, have they blown themselves up yet?
UFO sightings are likely to be a cultural phenomena. Here's a map of all reported UFO sightings from 1906 to 2014.
That's stupid. Do
What
you think? Look at that. That's just like.
It's just mostly America.
Well, I mean, I think this is more of a question of like what data is being recorded, you know? Do you think in like rural Africa they're like documenting this stuff as well as in like the eastern United States?
I mean,
think,
they
like, how many
have done
people
it a little bit. They've done it
few and far
enough, but
between,
not
there's
enough
gonna be
to
like way more here. But I don't know.
What is this? What's possible with ARCGIS? Learn how about the mapping of the historic UFO sightings and make an out-of-this-world visualization. Whoa, that's sick. So 1906, I predict that War of the Worlds comes out and UFO sightings go bananas. Okay, are you ready? I predict that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't that crazy. It wasn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be. Roswell UFO incident really kicks it up a notch. There's also more. Yep, this is a good point. There's a lot more shit flying around too that people will mistake as well.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, like for all of this stuff, like most of it is not actually what people think, you know? Like
Yeah.
most times it's not a ghost. Most times it's not a UFO. I comb through a lot of stuff that isn't before getting something that is. But I mean, do you believe in that there's life outside of
Yeah. Like I just said, I 100%,
Yeah.
100% believe that, like, yes,
there's something.
I wouldn't say like aliens in the way that we understand it, but I do think that of course there are beings that we cannot comprehend. I just don't think that they either A, have the technology to get here, or B, even if they do have the technology to get here, aren't fucking around with us, or C, even if they got here, we would not be able to fucking comprehend it with our basic human minds and our human comprehension in our eyes.
I think it's stupid to think that there's not something out there that we will be discovering that currently seems completely insane and paranormal to us right now. You know, it's happened over and over again through history. Something that just would have sounded made up, completely science fiction. It's bound to happen. And I think like a lot of this stuff like wouldn't be that, if we figured it out, it wouldn't be that crazy. It might open up way more questions depending on what it is, but I'm interested in it. So I think like that's like the only type of person that kind of gets on my nerves is the ones that like completely shut it out like 100%. Also because it's just like, dude, who cares? Like,
no, I think completely
think about UFOs. Who cares?
No, I think completely shutting it out is again like the limit to the processing power of the human brain, where they're like, it's selfish. You want to be the only living, breathing life on the planet. You want to be the most important, special thing. We have that in our hearts as human beings. We all want to be the most significant thing in the entire universe. That's where it comes from.
I think this is fun. It is funny. I just had like a little bit of an out of body moment where I'm like, damn, like I've kind of evolved. Like here I am on your stream, like fully pilled talking about this stuff. And I've never been like that before, but I guess this is my new life now.
Yeah. You're now
I'm a little too deep in it, but it's fun. And also you should just see the stuff that's like, I'm inundated with every single day now that I've like started doing this show.
Okay, well, I mean, don't lose yourself in the sauce. We don't want you.
No, I'm not in the sauce. You got to keep a level head with this because it's like, dude, there's so much
you're
nonsense
spooky
out
pill.
there.
You're spooky pill. You're not.
No, but there's so much nonsense out there. A lot of shit I do not believe. Like
okay, what are some things that you don't believe? Let's hear it.
I'm kind of like, I don't think like
Loch Ness Monster,
the Skinwalker Ranch stuff. I'm not.
Okay,
That's a really popular thing but I will say that like
Skinwalker.
Oh, dude, it's this ranch. Sorry, I keep kicking a trash can.
Yeah.
There's a ranch in Utah that has, I mean, it's really cool. Like the lore of it. It's like basically supposed to be like the most evil place, like a mix between like Native American spirits, like wild UFO activity, cattle decapitations, like mutilation. Like there's some books about it where it was basically the guy who originally took care of the land had like so many experiences, and then this billionaire bought it, and now this billionaire bought it like to research it. He's like a spooky pilled billionaire, and he has all these guys out there in like trench coats. They have a TV show, and they like have it like wired up, hidden cameras everywhere. I've been hit up like, so I can't like really like say who this is, but somebody I know, their dad just got to go there. Their dad's like famous, and they invited him to come.
Famous for what? Like
I can't say.
Famous for
like not.
No, but famous for related. Like, is he like a cryptozoologist or something?
Music.
Okay,
He's a
never
famous
mind.
Musician.
Okay, yeah.
And they hit him up to go because they're like, well, I didn't know why they hit him up, but we were kind of laughing after because they're like using his music to talk. I don't know. This is kind of. I don't think I'm supposed to be telling anybody about this.
So
but
here's Homestead too. I'm gonna walk around.
It's funny just because I was like, bro, I think they're just fans of your dad, bro. Like, I think they just
Yeah.
wanted to have them out there. Like, there's no reason.
Stories
about
this.
They have a show and like,
place.
dude, basically it's like,
So let's go ahead. And
there's
go
so
in.
much stuff that they claim to have happened, and unfortunately, the only source for the only witness is like the original guy who like ran the farm. And now there's these new guys running it, and like if they find some evidence, that would be really sick. But as far as I know, like I think they might have had some like spooky moments on the show, but I don't know.
Wait, so when I said I literally worked on the Skinwalker Ranch show, and we made shit up. It's completely faked, exaggerated, or embellished.
Bro, there's so much. That's funny. I kind of want to take a picture of that actually.
What, him saying that?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, so you don't believe this anyway? You think
Well,
that
I
it's
just
like
don't think,
exaggerated?
Their show, and like I read the book. There's a book by this dude Colm Kelleher. So like there's a few people who have had control of this ranch, but at some point a different group owned it that was like trying to do real paranormal scientific research. Supposedly they went there, for a month or something and like did all this research in like the 80s or something like that. I forget when. There's a book from this scientist who is supposedly a skeptic and like all the things he witnessed. And throughout the book, they're talking about like all the cameras they bought, all the audio equipment or stuff. And like, I'm reading this book and there's no pictures. And I'm like, bro, where's the pictures of cows?
Let's see some fucking shit. Yeah.
I'm like Googling like to find a single picture from these guys that were there. I'm like, you went there to get data and take pictures. You didn't take like literally.
Why didn't they do that?
Give me a picture of you on the farm. I don't know. I mean, if there's somebody in the chat who's seen it, like I tried looking. I'm like, I couldn't find it. So that's like when I was like, all right, this seems fake. Like I don't, you know, like you would think, and I know that like, you know, I don't think like a photograph is necessary to prove things or whatever. Some things like you can't take a picture of.
Okay, you want to look through this a little bit?
You could give them a taste.
I mean, this shit's creepy as fuck already.
Creepy.
I don't like this.
Ranch.
Why'd they go at night? I don't like that.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't even want to look at it because it's like, why would you go at night?
I heard a thump over here.
Oh, this guy's creepy as hell. What the fuck?
Yeah. I don't mean to put him on blast, but like that's an example. I'm just trying to say that like I don't believe in everything. And like honestly, dude, a lot of the podcasts that I've always been interested in this stuff, but like everything I listen to, it's like somebody either like reading a Wikipedia page verbatim in a spooky voice or like
creepypastas. I mean, they
or
pop
telling
off.
stories that like
They pop off though, like for
they
sure.
pop off, but like telling stories that just like are completely unbelievable. Or putting stuff out there where it's just like clearly a mentally ill person, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, you guys.
Ghost at 40? Wait,
This is
what?
Creepy.
What
Did you hear
ghost?
that?
I feel like he
Right
did
here.
that.
So
You went-
over
Did you hear
there, I
that?
heard a thump,
That's all of these shows are like that, dude.
and I just heard it again.
What?
I swear to God, I keep hearing it. What?
Is this a skinwalker, right?
Michael Hudson says, when I lived in Guam, I saw a humanoid creature after sunfall with glowing eyes. And the next day told our Chamorro neighbor, and she said those spirits are called Tao Tao Monas. I was a kid, but it fucked with me.
Whoa.
M-Hud.
Michael lived in Guam?
I don't know if he's making it up or not,
Or
but
that might be creepypasta? I don't know.
M-Hud.
Be serious, that's really cool.
Yeah, he said yeah for 2 years.
Shout out Michael Hudson. I believe him.
Yeah, I believe him too.
And the other Hudson, Andrew, is a nurse, and I think might have some spooky stories.
He draws a bunch of spooky shit.
Yeah.
So
Nurses have all seen weird stuff.
probably in the chat too.
Nurses have all experienced crazy stuff. That's like a dream episode of mine is to talk to like as many nurses as I can, and then kind of like, you know, do like hundreds of interviews and then just see if there's any pattern, you know.
FYI, this guy's a right-winger New York Post reporter who's hell-bent on making UFO stuff look ridiculous. I just want to say he's biased. See, you got some people in here that are like UFO truthers and shit.
Oh, are you talking about the Skinwalker guy?
This guy.
Oh,
UFOs, poltergeists, and all kinds of monsters. But no evidence to support any of this has ever been presented. In 2016, Bigelow sold the ranch to another real estate millionaire with a
This guy's
passion for the paranormal.
objectively
Brandon Fugel.
sick. These guys, they seem to fly helicopters a lot, like whether or not it's necessary. They're definitely showing the money. It's funny.
So like this guy believes it is what you're saying. This is a passion project.
I think so,
for him.
but it's like here's the thing, and this is the kind of conundrum with like all of this stuff for me is like, if you believe Skinwalker Ranch, it's supposed to be not only like the most evil place in the world where like Native Americans would never step foot on it because it's cursed lands. It's also this UFO hotbed and home to possible skinwalkers, which
What the fuck is a
it's
skinwalker?
shape-shifting Native American spirit, like an evil spirit that could shapeshift and take the form of many things, anything that it has like the fur of, essentially. And there's stories from like people seeing skinwalkers like run alongside a car, keeping pace at like 45 miles per hour. Like this is the stories of those are not limited to that ranch, but all of that to say, like if you believe this stuff, this would be like the last place you would want to go. You'd think, right? It's terrifying. So
You got to stop saying the name. Wait, what? Do you invoke them?
yeah, I'm sorry for saying it. Like,
What
and
the
I think
fuck?
it is actually like disrespectful if you're. I mean, it might be a little superstitious. I don't know the full history, but yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I think Native people might avoid saying the word in general. Like,
Okay.
don't even talk about it.
Okay. That's like me and, Jin, which I said again. But,
Mhm.
dude, this is not good, man. At night, I'm just going to fucking hear any noise I hear now. Any noise I hear now is automatic. I'm thinking ghosts.
Don't be. I mean, you shouldn't have to be
I
afraid.
feel like the brain, if someone calls your name, don't answer. What the fuck? Stop. Okay, listen, I'm in spook mode, okay? I am fully spook pilled now because here's the thing. I feel like our brains are incredibly powerful, right? I mean, after all, look at the dreams, look at like sleep paralysis, stuff like that. So we do have the capacity to fucking see things, right? And I do sometimes think like when you're fully spooky pilled, you're kind of allowing your brain to unlock a part of it that is like hallucination, is hallucinating these incredibly powerful visual images that I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm bringing it on myself.
It's interesting to learn about either way. I mean, and worth exploring, and especially with like Native cultures. That's another thing when I'm like, when you see that map, and I know that was just with UFOs, but like in many cultures, this stuff there's not paranormal. There's not like a word. It's just like a thing. Like it's a known thing. It's not paranormal to them. There are in many other cultures, spirits are just normal. It's not paranormal. So I don't think there'd be like sightings kept track for this, every culture is different. And I think there's just a lot to be learned, and it's even worth exploring. If you're just interested from a perspective of learning about different cultures.
This guy looks creepy.
He's the man. He definitely has some like fedora. There are fedoras at
Fugle.
Skinwalker Ranch, and I don't mean that in a
Fugle
mean way.
claims to
I think
finally
I just
have
saw
the
one right
goods.
there, honestly.
Proof. Evidence. He produces a reality TV show on the History Channel called The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. It claims to show.
I mean, there's no
There's some-
fucking way they're making enough money off that show to justify flying helicopters.
I forget. He's a billionaire. Maybe we should look up how he got his money.
Brandon Fugal. He is not frugal.
Dude, shout out to being a millionaire named Brandon.
Yeah. Let's go,
I
Brandon.
feel like that's not like. I think of that as like a young person's name. Let's see. Co-owner.
Like, how did he make his money? He's an American business leader and investor who's been recognized by EY Entrepreneur of the Year. Fugal is a co-owner of Utah-based real estate firm Colliers International and is known for owning Skinwalker Ranch. Oh, he's like I bet he's like a Mormon fucking,
There's no way he's Mormon, I think.
Oh, he's
Maybe
only worth $500 million, broke boy? Oh, shit.
estimated- Wait, I thought he was a billionaire. Maybe
Yeah.
he spent it all on Skinwalker.
Yeah, broke boy, dude?
Wait,
What
Texas
the fuck?
Growth Fund. No, he's way too goth to be a Mormon.
Fugal began his career working as a senior vice president of Utah Realty Group in 1994. He also worked as the chairman of Coldwell Banker Commercial. What are you looking at?
I was just burping off mic, but then I was kind of trying to read.
In 2016, he co-founded the Texas Growth Fund, IIC. 4 years later, he joined Zenergy IRC LLC as a strategic advisor.
I don't know what any of this means.
He has a massive fortune. I don't know either.
Damn.
Dan and Jill Fugal.
I feel bad. Like, I'm not trying to pick on Skinwalker Ranch because I do think it would be cool to go hang out there one time if I am crazy enough to do it.
Yeah,
But
don't
I want to learn more, but like, I just based on everything I know, I have no reason to believe this. It would be great.
What do you think about the UFO disclaimers? Or like, well, they changed it now, right? What is it, UAP?
UAP, yeah.
Yeah. What do you
That was
think about the
interesting.
UAP? Yeah. Why did they do that? Why did the government change the name from a UFO to UAP while also simultaneously like doing the biggest data leak,
I
data
know.
dump
It's like
of
that's
UFO
when you're
shit.
really pilled. Is you're like, wait, why are they letting us know now?
Yeah, maybe.
But-
Does that make you feel like it's fake?
I don't know, but I will say like, once you start, like now that I'm doing this, like I also get told like stuff that I can't really like talk about on the show or repeat on here or anything, but like I'll hear like whisperings from like, you know, relatives of
Oh,
people.
like
where it's
Alex Jones style. You know, I know someone who's a Navy helicopter pilot.
But
It was-
higher up than that, I've heard some stuff that's like pretty credible from like people high up in the government that like they're like, yeah, my grandpa was taken to a place and shown things.
I feel like no, because I feel like if that's the case,
I'll
like
tell you who it is off stream.
there are too many moving parts to keep that a secret. Like even something as powerful as the American government is not going to be able to fucking maintain that as basically a secret. What are you going to show? Are you going to show me?
I'll show you who it is, but you cannot say it.
Okay. Cause like there are a lot of instances of like the government doing fuck shit like MK Ultra, you know, documented things that certainly are weird, crazy, whatever, right? That's crazy. Okay, that actually, whoa. What the fuck?
And it came like, that was not like a telephone game.
That is straight from the mouth? Straight from the source?
Yep.
That's pretty wild. Okay, never mind.
I know. I go all over the place.
I mean, I don't know. I still don't know. Maybe they were fucking around like with their
Bro, wait,
grand.
you want to see some real weird shit? Actually,
What?
I can show you some weird shit. Like, would it be easier if I need to give you a link?
Okay,
What's the
just
best way to do it?
Twitter DMs, and then I can
Okay,
just
I'll
like
Twitter DM.
immediately pull it up.
So I have to. I'll shut out my friend Ty, who sent me this stuff. Oh, bro, I have some. The funny thing about doing this pod is now I have like all these funny characters in my life that I talk to.
I'm not gonna leak.
I have this like Harvard guy that I've got this like Harvard physicist that like is down to help me out, where he just explains things to me that I'm too dumb to understand. He like,
Wait, you have a Harvard guy that is
Yeah,
also into this stuff?
Well, I have an episode where it was like, I have a really weird episode that this couple, they don't even know if it's paranormal, but they had this weird thing happen to them. They're like, we were moving out of our cabin. We had like some wine together. We drank them out of mason jars, went to bed, like, cheers, like, we're going to miss the cabin or whatever. And they woke up and the glasses, like, just the bottom of the wine glass was left. And there were no shards of glass anywhere. It got turned to dust. These glasses got turned to dust, and they found the dust in, like, these piles around the windows, like, on the windowsills. And the windowsills were higher than the glass. Like, everything about it, dude, they found one in the bathroom, a little pile in the bathroom that was around, like, 2 corners. And they're like, we don't know if this is paranormal. We don't know like what it was. And I was just like asking a million questions, like, what was the weather? Like, was other glass like destroyed in the house? Like, they're like, no. I was literally stumped. And I'm like, I feel like there might be a crazy scientific explanation for it. Like, I should let somebody try to solve it. So I sent it to University of Texas, and I sent it to this guy at Harvard. And University of Texas, dude, I think has some theories, but he's like, I don't know, it's a stretch. Like, we'll have to see. So I might be linking them up to ask them some questions, but we'll see. It's not like a very spooky thing. It was just like, these people weren't even scared. They're just like, we have no idea what happened. This is weird. So there are some things, if I think there's a scientific explanation, I will try to do that, you know? But anyway, you want to get in some weird stuff? Let me find these links for you.
Okay.
I was going to talk about this on TrueAnon, but didn't get around to it. So basically, like, my friend Ty showed me these. The Navy has these patents on some stuff that are just like, it's just really weird. Like,
And was it if the Harvard professor is Avi Loeb, he's not credible?
no. Oh yeah, Twitter DM. And I don't even know what this is, but like basically you could go down a little bit of a rabbit hole of like these patents that the Navy holds for technology that's like almost like UFO
Watch
technology.
your phone screen. Just showing.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's the real demon right there.
What happens?
Okay, so
why
this
don't
is
you do that? Like, what happens if they see your phone screen?
Oh, I don't know. They could just like you could be leaking shit without realizing.
Oh, okay. It's just like my own wallpaper is a picture of my own penis.
Oh,
It embarrasses myself.
Oh shit. Well, that would I would get banned if that was the case.
Oh, that too. Okay.
Okay.
Wait,
So what is this? Craft using an inertial mass reduction device. A craft using an inertial mass reduction device comprised of an inner resonant cavity wall, an outer resonant cavity, and microwave emitters. The electricity. What is it? The electrically charged outer resonant cavity wall and the electrically insulated inner resonant cavity wall form a resonant cavity. So, like, what is this?
I'm too dumb to understand it, but it's basically like, is there somebody?
It's a patent for a spaceship, is what you're saying.
I mean, it's like, to be honest with you, I haven't even like had time to fully dive into this.
Okay,
But
so
I thought it would be fun to look at it together.
So there is, well, this is the best place to look at it because there's 32,700 people in here, and there are actual engineers, astrophysicists, and shit like that in this chat.
That's why I thought it'd be fun. I have not had time to look at this. By the way, hosting this show now, people just send me crazy shit, and I'll be like, just busy trying to get through my day, and I'll be hit with like the wildest information where I'm like, all right, like I have to just fucking compartmentalize that.
So my first question when I hear something like this is it normal for the American government or for anyone in general to like hold on to patents for things that have not been created yet? Like things that they haven't actually, things that they think they could create in the future that they're working on.
Possibly. But
So that's number one. Number two, how easy it is to maintain or take a patent like this. If it's super easy, then like why wouldn't they do it? Number three is like, you know, I like, does this have to be something that's real? I guess.
I don't know. Well, and I don't even know if it would be real, but it's like, yeah, I'm gonna send you a couple more links. There was an article about it, I think.
This is recent UFO NASA. Oh, NASA has announced in October 21st. Wow, this is fucking literally, bro, look at this. This is 6 days ago. NASA announces unidentified aerial phenomena study team members.
Wow.
So they're actually putting like actual NASA scientists to investigate UAPs now.
My friend got these from like an article. There are some other patents. I'm trying to find them, like where I had the links. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't come prepared with this, but I sent you another article.
That's literally
I
my
think.
dad's NASA team, Lamau. Your dad is looking at UAPs at NASA? What the fuck?
But you could kind of dive into the patents that U.S. Navy has. Like the internal mass reduction device is pretty wild. Like that's close to like what a lot of people think these crafts would be powered by.
But this
It's like-
it's impossible for this to exist
We have
with our current understanding
no, I
of
don't think
technology.
somebody smarter than me in the comments probably knows, but like I don't think we're anywhere close to being able to like
Yeah.
reduce mass of an object.
This person violates the first law of thermodynamics. It's fake as fuck.
I mean, the Navy has the patent, so I don't.
I'm very well versed on space propulsion. This doesn't work. Don't ignore. This is an internal ass reduction device. You put it on your butt to float. Okay, shut the fuck
Okay,
up.
I'm with that. I mean, like, I don't like fake. I don't think that word is even useful in the situation, right? Like, this is a real patent from the Navy. It's from the patent office. It's a real patent.
One of the things I've heard very commonly from a lot of other people as well, and it kind of goes along with what I believe too, is that like they release the UAP stuff because the military is like always experimenting with new technology that they don't want to reveal.
Yeah.
So that if people accidentally end up seeing something that's like super weird, they could just be like, oh, it's a UFO. It's a UAP, actually. Oh, yeah, it must be aliens. Like they would rather protect.
That could be real too.
They would rather protect IP that they are working on and testing, and as a matter of national security, and make people believe in aliens than fucking reveal that they're working on shit is what.
That being said, based on like the stuff that people have been
Today's
seeing
video
lately,
is brought
it
to
would
you
be
by-
wild what they would have. I mean,
Okay, this is a scientist that discovered anti-gravity, then disappeared completely.
Listening as well includes how a wide variety of grifters get involved in it. There appears to at least be some seed of truth to some of the claims of UAP, UFOs, and anti-gravity manipulative tech.
Oh.
In particular,
Boom! Wait, this is the guy? That's the guy, bro? The guy that did the
I
patent?
don't know. See, I'm telling you, I haven't even had time to dive into this yet.
Bro, we're diving into it right now, Jack. Buckle the fuck up, okay?
Let's
Inventor, Salvatore Caesar Pace. And he worked for the U.S. Department of Navy. It says worldwide applications of the patent. And it was filed in 2016.
So even if he was crazy, it's weird that the Navy's getting the patent on it.
Bro, I'm not
Which
trying to
is
disappear.
when it comes to government-funded research. And as a bit of a disclaimer, because I know this subject matter draws out an absolute array of opinions, just know my goal here isn't to change your beliefs, but more.
Jack's getting ready to buckle up. He just ripped his fucking.
Popping the
He
top.
ripped his fucking pump cover
I
off.
actually ripped it off in half.
Yeah, he's excited.
More so just tell you what I found and entertain you. So let's get into it. As we are going to discuss the disappearance of one particular scientist by the name of Dr. Ning Li.
Wait, when's the last time Barely Sociable posted? Did they post this video and disappear too? No. Okay, 1 year ago they posted this and then okay, never mind.
By the way, shout out to my editor, Theo Schaefer, is texting me right now saying, bro, you better say my name on the stream. So shout out to Theo. He's helped me a lot.
Now, this story obviously begins with one particular physicist by the name of Dr. Ning Li, who was working at the Center for Space Plasma and Aeronomic Research and the University of Alabama Huntsville in the 1990s. Ning Li's main claim to fame here seemed to come from a variety of her peer-reviewed papers that she published during this time, in which a theory of hers predicted a practical way to create an anti-gravity effect.
I think the theory already hold there, they published through the review process. Then that's very controversial. I know a lot of people criticize it. But fortunately, nobody found any mistake in my papers. So just about no mistake, but people don't believe it. I know until I got an experimental result, I can show people.
And before I try to explain any of her research,
Listen, you could
Is
reduce.
a woman?
Yeah. Oh, you don't believe it now? Not credible. Chat.
No, shout out.
Yeah, no.
Women
the real,
in STEM.
The real
Women in
real
STEM.
mystery. The real mystery is how she got there. Oh no, the real mystery is avoiding the top of the hour ad break. At the top of the hour, there's a 6-second ad break. It's coming right now. I forgot to run it at 4 because I got really deeply invested
sign.
into these stories. If you no longer want to see those ads, you don't need a saucer or a Navy patent. All you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account or by getting gifted a sub. If you're lucky, here's a woman ad break now. Boom. Has your guest been to space? No, dude.
I want to make clear that when I'm referring to anti-gravity, I'm essentially referring to gravity manipulation,
sick.
as gravity is a fundamental force of nature. And in regards to Ning Li's research, the core idea included in her papers seemed to stem from one core concept, that being things called superconductors, which are essentially a substance that can conduct electricity with no resistance, meaning that no energy is lost from point A to point B. Now, generally, the state of superconductivity is achieved when a substance cools to a particular critical temperature, and generally one of the cooler side effects, no pun intended, for achieving this critical temperature is the expulsion of the substance's magnetic field, and that's what you're witnessing right now. Now, this is obviously one example from a broad, sweeping concept that could be applied to the future of superconductors. And as you can
Wait, why'd you say superconductors are 100% fake? Is it? Dude, what the fuck? 157 shadows rated as segue, average of 4.71 out of 10. Good attempt, Hossi. Wide people said, what the fuck? Chat, stop rating me so low, dude. What is this shit?
What does that mean?
So, as a contractual obligation by Amazon, I run ads on my stream. Okay, and I run 1 minute of ads per hour. So I usually have gamified it. I asked my stream, I was like, should we make this should I just auto run these ads? And then it just, you just boom, get hit in the face with an ad. or should I gamify it and like I bake it into my commentary so that like it's more fun, and then I like kind of pause the comment, I pause it too so like people don't miss out on the stream. And they decided it's better to just like stop and do a segue, do what we call a debate. So then someone built a bot that tallies what people's ratings are, if my segue was good or not.
Oh wow. Okay, so they're reviewing the segue.
But it's just yet another example that democracy doesn't work, because everybody always like fucks over the. Even Nim has more ad density than you. Yeah, my ad density is gonna fucking go up a lot too. Don't worry.
Dude, I just got a funny text update that Chelsea, my fiance, said that like my mother-in-law just texted her saying that like I tried listening to the recent episode of Jack's podcast and turned it off. It was too scary, and she's telling her other family members not to listen to my podcast.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
Wait, but this is like a concern. I mean, dude, this thing I recorded last night is fucked up. Like, I'm kind of curious. I have all these people at the disposal now. Like, is really scary like good, or will that be like bad for the show ultimately? I don't know. I want this to be mainstream big. But.
Last night, my friend Will said something that I consider to be brilliant, where he was like, spicy food is like scary movies. You like ramp yourself up to it. And I love spicy food. I hate scary movies, but I totally get it. Like at first you might not like it. At first you might not appreciate it, but over time, the more you fucking build a tolerance for it, the more you want,
I don't even think the episode she's talking about is scary, even. Like, I think it's spooky and weird. Like, it's the jack-off one. The gin. That's what she turned off.
I mean, it is spooky. I
guess Chelsea is Egyptian, but...
Yeah,
but her mom isn't, so...
Oh, I was going to say, we don't fuck with that shit, but... Okay, let's continue.
Imagine having incredibly efficient electricity would be highly useful for a number of reasons, beyond just the gravitomagnetic effect. But on that same note, one of the main problems with superconductors is that you need incredibly cold temperatures to achieve this. This has led to an interest in high-temperature superconductors, which is actually referring to substances that superconduct above negative 196 Celsius. And realistically, for these things to probably...
Yeah, one thing you could do is make the episodes progressively spookier and scarier throughout the entire season, so you're like slowly spooky pilling everybody.
That's what I'm doing, and there's going to be some nice ones coming up. Like, there's like... some funny ones and a couple really nice ones. I think some of them I'm most excited about are like sweet. Like, well, there's one of the sweet ones is like sad too, but it's there's some nice ones. Like there's some cool ones, and there's some that are just like fun. Like I don't know how to explain it,
Okay.
But and then and there's gonna be some crazy ones. But dude, honestly, I think the world is ready for it. Like I think everybody's too wrapped up in like NPR brained neoliberalism, It's like
no, there's definitely a hella right wing audience.
No, I know,
ready for fucking demon time, because they believe that like demons exist in the murals of 13-year-old girls and shit.
But like the left doesn't have that much of an option outside of like Sedona, Arizona, and that's kind of like laughed off of like the the new age ant. But I think that's like. There needs to be room for that.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't like adequate like conspiracy theory left content before TrueAnon, I think. So you fill another void there.
Yeah, where it's like, people that could believe in something or suspend disbelief at least, but why let them have all the fun? That's what I say.
My girlfriend's dad is a pastor, and he has witnessed exorcisms in India. Demons exist. Okay, bro.
Dude.
Anyway, all right, let's continue with this.
Change our day-to-day lives, such as the ever so elusive hoverboard. There's definitely going to be a need for a room temperature superconductor, which has yet to be discovered yet. And while I will note last year the first room temperature superconductor was found, the only problem with it is that it only existed under extreme levels of pressure, making it really unusable for the average person. But all of that being said, where Dr. Ning Li fits into this is her creation and claim that a high-temperature superconducting disk...
Okay, I'm sorry, but the moment that I see, like, an old-ass website that you're pulling with this font and shit, the credibility is shaken a little bit. I'm a big aesthetics guy when it comes to this sort of stuff, because I don't have the science background to comprehend whether this is, like, possible or not. So I look at the optics a little bit, and the moment I see Comic Sans with this, like, 3D print...
Fire, though. Some of the UFO stuff is all like 1999. Like if you go into the Area 51 stuff, you'll find some of the coolest website aesthetics because it's all like 99, early web guys that made like UFO blogs that are still up.
Yeah.
It's surprising which ones are like still up. I think these dudes paid like for 30-year contracts for like their web pages,
Yeah, back when the internet was cheap.
Like the Space Jam site. Remember how that was up for a long time? I think they finally...
Oh, really?
The original Space Jam site, they finally took it down, but at one point, if you went to spacejam.com, I think it was like the original website, but now they have that new movie, so they replaced it. There's like a few that are still up, some funny ones. Wait, so are you
she
believing
was
this?
developing and could essentially
I don't
create a
know.
force field-like effect. The first notable paper here was Effects of Gravitomagnetic Field on Pure Superconductors, and it was published in 1991. A year later, she would publish another paper by the name of Gravitational Effects on the Magnetic Attenuation of Superconductors, and in a subsequent paper just a year later called Gravitoelectric Electric Coupling via Superconductivity was also peer-reviewed and published. Now, I'm not a physics channel, but I will include links to these papers that you can check out for yourself. But to summarize Ning Li's theory...
Yeah, I'm sure, there's like physicist people who will check it out.
She essentially noted that rotating
Physics
ions
people.
spinning in a perpendicular field to their spin axis would create an anti-gravity effect if a large number of ions could be aligned in something called a Bose-Einstein condensate, which is essentially an exotic state of matter in which all of the atoms act as one, where she theorized that this alignment may be possible by trapping superconductor ions in a lattice structure in a high-temperature superconducting disk, which in turn led to the development of a 12...
I've already tuned out. Like, it just sounds like nerd science shit. And I'm like, it's probably true. It's on Wikipedia. Seems about right.
That's why
That's as far as my brain can go. I'm like, Bose-Einstein super megaphonic conductorism is like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
That's why I have the Harvard dude, and I'll need to probably get a couple more guys like that. Because also, like, I don't have the patience to, like, I'm not a good researcher. I like doing the interviewing people, firsthand encounters, but I start to zone out, dude. I have ADHD. It's bad.
Me too.
And
I have
the
no
nasty
idea what
kind,
the fuck's going on.
The kind where you like get sent home for biting kids in elementary school kind.
You bait kids? You had a demon in you, dude.
Maybe it was a demon.
Murat's not a physicist, guys. He's a aerospace and mechanical engineer. He built satellites.
Who?
My brother.
Oh,
I
that's
think
sick.
you met him.
He probably knows some things, dude.
Yeah. Well, I went to the Boeing facility where they like open it up once every like 20 years or something for a civilian population to come and like look at what they're doing. And I yelled at every scientist there. I was like, tell me the truth about flat Earth. I was like fucking around.
I think,
But
dude, have you
I
ever...
was testing them. I was like,
I haven't had the time to look into it, but like there's a bunch of spooky stuff relating to Jet Propulsion Lab up in Pasadena. Like there's the NASA, I think it's the Jet Propulsion Lab, but also I think Aleister Crowley was doing a bunch of weird like satanic like Hollywood
well, I do
meetup
think,
stuff up
okay,
there in the
so here's the
60s.
thing. I do think that a lot of these fucking scientists are goofy as fuck. Like, I think their brains are warped by, looking at numbers too much. And I do think that they believe in a lot of weird ass shit and can also have like, personal mental health complications. So
I was exaggerating about biting people in elementary school. I didn't bite people.
a couple of years ago, there was a Mexican radio show called La Mano Peluda, where the radio host named Juan Ramos Sanz, who would have people that call in to tell paranormal experience stories. One of the last stories he had on ultimately led to his unusual and sudden death. What?
That's wild.
Jack, you fucking protect yourself,
I'm doing,
dude.
that's another episode I'm doing. I'm gonna take a picture of that to look into it.
Dude, you are such a fucking
Spanish
boomer.
language episode this year.
I love that you're just taking photos on your phone on the chat.
It's just the easiest way. I mean, what am I, dude? You think do you really want me texting you? Be like, hey, send those screenshots, bro.
No, yeah, there's no shot I'd be able to pull that anyway.
No. No, I'm doing, Mexico has some crazy ghost stories, and I have one from Venezuela this year that's in Spanish. I do not speak Spanish, so I had to have other people help me with that. Palma, a famous poster / of Seeking Derangements. You know that podcast?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's been helping me translate and edit. Spanish stuff.
Wait, Jack Parsons, founder of JPL and Thelomite, who knew Aleister Crowley personally and did a sex ritual with L. Ron Hubbard and Marjorie Cameron.
There we go. See, I knew, like, I haven't looked into this stuff yet, but that's something that people have told me.
L. Ron Hubbard was like a science fiction writer.
I also heard there's like some weird plaques out there. And you know what's funny is that it's just so pretty in that area. It's like Pasadena. I like to hike over there. It's between Pasadena and like La Cañada Flint Ridge, I think is up there.
What the fuck is this, bro? In the spring of 1946, L. Ron Hubbard and John W. Parsons performed a series of magical rituals with the aim of incarnating the Thelemic goddess Babylon in a human being. Hubbard's cooperation with Parsons, known as the Babylon Working, remains one of the most controversial events in Hubbard's pre-Scientology days. This article sets out to describe the content of the magical rituals as well as their purpose. It is argued that in order to fully understand these events, it is necessary to approach the Babylon Working from the study of Western esotericism in general and the study of Enochian magic in particular. What?
Where is this? Also, it's behind a $35 paywall. What?
Yeah, this is like a fucking, what is this, a Brill Scholarly Journal? What the fuck is that?
What is that?
God, L. Ron Hubbard is so fucking crazy. Newman?
Doesn't that? It just reminds me of like the Nixium cult. It looks a lot like the Nixium logo.
Or like, you know, Dave's Vault guys do shit like that too sometimes.
But so wait, John Parsons founded the Jet Propulsion Lab? NASA Jet Propulsion Lab? Is that who that is?
I'm
not, I don't know anything about this. People come up to me and they'd be like, you gotta look into this, like whatever.
Please have a fucking Thelemite on, please. Lon Milo Duquette is in California. You sound like a goober talking about magic in Babylon and Thelema. Holy shit, please. Wait, what? What the fuck is a Thelemite, dog? Why are you writing in all caps like I am a goober. This motherfucker said like, you don't know about my Dungeons and Dragon group, you fucking loser. Like basically to me. Wow, what a fucking loser you are, dude. You don't know about the fucking D&D sessions we host?
It's so hard to read the comments. Trying to read the flow. It's like reading the Matrix. You're able to do it though.
Yeah, I mean,
ritual magic. So this is freaky. I've never explored this, but if you ever get the chance to hang out around the places where there's either like any kind of aerospace or remote Air Force base, it's very spooky even in like non-paranormal ways. Like Mojave, California is in the middle of the desert, like the actual town of Mojave. It's where a lot of private space companies are. It's also very near an Air Force base, and then also they bring planes there to like repair them, I believe. There's like almost like a plane graveyard. But I've been up there a couple times for work, and it's also just like kind of a road trip stop that makes sense for camping, but there's very limited businesses there, and it's like all of these like engineers that work there, mostly men. And so you go into like the two places in town you could eat are McDonald's or like this Thai restaurant, and you go in there and everybody has a lanyard. It's always like these like men, these like 45-year-old men eating together. And you know, it's just so spooky. Like all of these guys are working on like weird top secret stuff. And same with Jet Propulsion Lab. When you go around there, you'll like start clocking the guys that work there because they like go by themselves and like drink at these bars after to unwind, but they always have like a lanyard and just kind of like odd dudes.
Yeah, they're always weirdos. Always, I know. Like, weird, I mean, my brother's a fucking weirdo too.
You could clock them
also
like, from a mile away.
Also, this dude looks like my sleep paralysis demon. What the fuck?
Wait, who is that?
Aleister Crowley.
Oh yeah, well he's the founder of Satanism, right?
What the fuck? Yeah, you popped the top off too early, man.
Yeah. Wow, he's
Esoterica on YouTube is credible for stuff on Western esotericism. Rick Owens looking motherfucker. Yeah, bro, he's on that Rick.
Undeniable drip.
Yeah,
that elven
for sure.
drip.
Unspoken Riz too, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, that's freaky. Who else was at that meetup?
I don't know.
Early
the Thelemic
clout
Pantheon, a collection of gods and goddesses who either literally exist or serve as symbolic archetypes and metaphors, includes a number of deities. It's time for another one of these dudes, though. I think the environment is like ripe for that. Because, like, we are going back. I mean, this is like Chapo's take, which I agree with, but like we do behave like a lot of like upper middle class Americans behave like fucking medieval peasants at this point. So we do need someone to guide that, like the sheep, the flock.
We need another Aleister Crowley.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh my God. I think we have enough.
Bro, don't go
satanic
down this rabbit
minutes.
hole. You know how the Satanists get in chat? I know. They do get fucking annoying as shit. They can't help themselves.
Some people believe we already have a satanic leader. I'm not naming a name.
What, Joe Brandon?
No, well, maybe. I haven't kept tabs. I haven't kept tabs on what Q is theorizing.
Yeah, that's true. It's insane how motherfuckers want to be on Cardi dick. They dress just like him, copy his flow bar by bar. Most sane r/Cardi user.
It is kind of sad.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's fighting Cardi.
It's fucked up.
Man, that's wild. It's kind of sad.
What,
dude, that's spooky stuff. I mean, that's kind of like, to be clear, if I'm,
this is a patent that dumbed down so that if anyone has a patent, wouldn't figure it out or get any info from a release to public. So even if you have it, you won't have any idea what it was. So people are trying to figure out probably what.
I don't know.
Bro, you literally did the worst job of explaining this, dude. What the fuck? Okay, let's get back to this fucking thing.
Prototype that you
By the way, someone already destroyed this and said, like, no, this lady actually died, like, last year.
Maybe. I don't
saw
know.
in the picture earlier. And to quote an article from October 1st, 1999, which is done by a publication by the name of Popular Mechanics, the first thing to understand about Lee's device is that it is neither an anti-gravity machine nor a gravitational shield, says Jonathan Campbell, a scientist at the NASA Marshall Space Flight Center who has worked with Lee. It does not modify gravity, rather it produces a gravity-like field that may be either attractive or repulsive. Lee describes her device as a method of generating a never-before-seen force field that acts in a way that is similar to gravity. Since it may be either repulsive or attractive, she calls it a C-gravity. It adds to or counteracts or redirects gravity, explains Larry Smalley, the former chairman of the University of Alabama at Huntsville, UAH Physics Department. And it's also worth noting, for her device to work, it would require one other component, that being a rotating motor for the individual ions. As the next section read, although Lee's theory has passed through scientific quality control process called peer review, and a high-temperature superconducting disk has been constructed, important technical unknowns remain. This summer, Lee left UAH. She and several colleagues are striking out on their own to commercialize devices based on her theory and a proprietary high-temperature superconducting disk fabrication technique. Lee's next step is to raise the several $million needed to build the induction motor that individually spins the ions in the high-temperature superconducting disk. It will take at least 2 years to simulate the machine on a computer, says Smalley, who plans to join Lee's as yet unnamed company after he retires from UAH. And it's worth noting in the final statement given by Lee in this article, she states, investors want control over the technology. She says, this is too important. It should belong to all the American people. Now, with all that being said, I'm not a physics channel, and I can't really comment on the paper herself or her experimental results that she claimed to observe in and around this time. But what is worth noting...
I'm already losing my mind imagining this is the amount of math that they had to do to figure this shit out.
This is like not worth me even like looking at, because I just don't know what any of this means also.
The more I stare at these things and the more I try to comprehend what's going on here, the more likely I am to believe every spooky story you tell me. I'm just letting you know.
Well, also, like, to be clear, like my show, I'm not a research show. Like there's a lot of shows out there that like read Wikipedia articles and like just like basically do that on the podcast. I only talk to people who have firsthand encounters. They saw something with their own eyes, and we talk about that. And I'm mostly exploring what they do after that, right? Like after you see something that changes your understanding of the world, like how do you just go back to working at your job, and like what do you do with that information, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm really doing. I don't really need to get people to believe or not believe.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel you.
And I'm not like a expert. Disclaimer. But so I only focus on like firsthand encounters.
Okay, this is the other guy, Eugene Pokletno.
But what is rather bizarre about that article we just read was the fact that it was in 1999, and just 2 years prior, a final experiment that she did showed that little to no effect was present at all in her theory, stating this result put new limits on strength and range of the proposed coupling between superconductors and gravity. But despite this fact, sometime after this final paper had been published, she would still continue to leave her position at the college and would leave to start a company called AC Gravity LLC. And the other professor that Ning Li was working alongside, that man by the name of Douglas Torr, would go on to found his own company by the name of Phase Space Time LLC. I should say it's rather bizarre that if you truly believed that this theory was a dead end, then why would you then leave your job and start a company
Not
off
like
that theory
phase
that
up,
supposedly
but
didn't
phase,
work?
like with a PH.
Or if we take this particular abstract at face value, why would you quit your job to study something that just had severe limits imposed on it? That seems like a risky idea to base your entire career off of. And I must say, one of the common themes that I came across when researching this particular topic is the frequent
Wait, why is he being like skeptical of the researcher's findings when she's not offering like what he wants to be real?
I don't know. Also, this guy's way of speaking is like, some people, the way they talk just trigger my brain to shut off. Like my ADD is kicking in heavy when he talks.
Yeah, the way he's describing it is
Like,
it's
it's like immediately
it's like almost too pleasant. I don't know
like
how
I
to describe it.
or he's maybe putting me in some kind of trance, but it'll be like 10 seconds of me listening to it, and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm out. I'm reading the comments. That's definitely not helping either.
What are we covering next? The guy who got killed for inventing a water-powered car? Yeah, isn't that's a classic one, isn't it? Even I know about that one. The government killed him, brother.
How pilled is the audience is my question.
No, dude, this is I mean, look, this is a big audience, right? So there's always going to be like
How many people we got in here right now?
only around 30,000, 30,566.
Everybody take out your phone and go subscribe to Otherworld, please.
Well, I mean,
Help
we
me
did that
out.
when there was like 35,000. So don't worry.
Oh, hell. Oh, wait, they left? What made them leave? I scared them off.
The
I didn't even start talking about gnomes yet, dude.
yeah, the lack
I didn't
of
even start
pill-
talking about. I didn't gnome pill anybody.
They're
Bro,
not pilled enough.
you want to get some real crazy shit,
what, gnomes?
bro? I interviewed these Romanis. I don't know if you guys know about the Romani people, like
Yeah,
the gypsies.
they know.
Like is like what the
Not the proper.
I know, but
He said
you
the
know,
G word. It's time to cancel, Jack.
But historically, people know Romani people to be by that name. So, but they're actually a race of people that did not know we didn't know the true origin until recently. I think it's traced back to India, actually.
Oh, really? I thought it was like the Roman like empire.
Well, they were in Europe a lot, but basically it's a nomadic group of people, and like they traveled around. And I think a lot of people think of like a fortune teller or like performers. And I mean, there's a lot of stereotypes and they're very misunderstood. But one thing about them is that they're very spiritual people. And some of the earliest like psychics were Romani. And so I interviewed these two 5th generation psychics. Like no matter what you think about it, I've always been fascinated with the Romani people. Just from like the perspective of a fascinating group. I mean, they're like these nomadic people who have never had a home and like for the most part like hide. Also, a lot of them were killed in the Holocaust, and that's not talked about that much either, but there were a ton of Romanis killed and targeted.
And there's still a lot of resentment towards them in Europe, especially. Like they fucking hate Europeans. Hate
and like
Romani people. Like they hate them.
Stereotype. A lot of Romani people pretend to be Greek. Like they'll just lie like their entire life, but they have very interesting cultures. So anyway, I wanted to interview these people anyway. They hit me up with this story, but secretly I was like, I also think they'll be interesting. And I thought it would be cool to like talk to them about what it's like being Romani and like dealing with these stereotypes. And also like they mentioned something about like TikTok witches and being annoyed by it. So I thought it'd be funny and like interesting. And it was. They basically run a psychic shop where they like people come in and they just try to help them with whatever they come in with. But they're saying that like a big problem that they deal with now is like all of the TikTok people that like basically like witchcraft or like experimenting with that realm is like, it'll be trending on TikTok and like all these people start fucking around with it. And then something will happen to them and then they get scared and then they come into their psychic shop and like want help. And it annoys them. And also I think these people feel like there's cultural appropriation going on or something. But anyway, they tell me a bunch of crazy stories and I start asking them about what. And you guys, like for the skeptical people, in this crowd, like just brace yourself because this is about to get a little weird. But
A little weird. Yo, dude, are you kidding me?
Bro.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Like half the chat's already like they're like, okay, but like not really believing in it. If it's gonna get wilder than that, okay, let's hear it. I want to hear it though.
Well, and this is wild to me too. So, but you'll be okay. So they tell me all sorts of stuff. Mind you, I start this interview on Zoom during the day, and like by the end of the interview, it's like pitch black. I'm like sitting in the dark where I like realize I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta turn my light on. Like that much time has passed. I'm talking to these people. I'm like, what else comes into your shop? Like people come in with nutty stuff, right? Like, you know, what? No matter what you believe it in this stuff, like I'm sure there's really interesting people coming in there seeking help. And like I asked them, you know, if anything stood out, and they're like, well, you know, one of the worst is gnomes. And I'm like, no, like I literally start laughing, like, and they're like, and they start laughing too. They're like, people have worshipped gnomes and they come to us. Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like a garden gnome? And like, I think this is the funniest thing ever. Like this actually kind of like ended that interview almost because I started getting too distracted and like laughing. But
like Keemstar, like what are we talking?
bro, like literally worshiping like a classic gnome. And I'm laughing because I was like, wait, are gnomes real? Like I thought we made those up. Like, I'm like, is that like, dude, I thought it was just like something you put in your yard or whatever, like that, like worshiping that.
Yeah.
So,
bro,
dude,
there's so much more that you could worship than this thing.
No,
dude.
okay, so like they finally, and this will be an episode eventually, but
These are American gnomes because they have guns.
So it did eventually spook me because they're laughing too. They're like, I know, it's crazy. They're like, but believe it or not, 3 people have like come to us with this. But what they ended up telling me, and it's still so funny to me, but what did kind of like spook me is they're like, I guess there is kind of like a weird tradition of this and like people worshiping like fairies back in the day or things like that. But they're just saying that like basically what they tried to explain to me is that like if you start worshiping something and you're making offerings to something, like it may not be a gnome, but like there might be something that's gonna like be on the other side ready to be worshipped, you know, or pretend to be the gnome essentially. And so they've like had to deal with these people who like started worshiping a gnome and like got really into it to the point where like the gnome is asking them to do horrible things in order to be rewarded. And
like
then,
what?
like, they told me, and like I'm not saying I believe this or not, it's just what they told me. They told me that the gnome eventually asks for your firstborn son, and they've told me that
What the fuck?
they've seen it happen where the gnome has taken a firstborn son, and they don't know if it was like given. Dude, they've told me, and this will be a thing, like they've told me like this has happened 3 times with them. And it became like, it's one of those things where it became like, I don't know if this is funny or horrifying or like what. It was like dizzying. But the spooky thing I think is like, you know.
No, the spooky thing is what you just said, dog.
Yeah.
Not what? Firstborn?
I know. And I guess they say it starts with like just a little thing like putting out like
that.
like a little snack or something.
Look at that.
Oh, and it's not like a gnome running around. To be clear, like they never said that there was like a gnome like running around. It's like a statue, and then from what I understand, it would be like they would hear the gnome ask for something, be like, that was good. Can I have a cake next time? And then like the person will like bring the gnome a cake, and then the next time it wants a bed, and then the next time it wants a wife, and like eventually the gnome starts giving them stuff, usually money.
Why would you fucking give the gnome anything?
That's a confusing part. Is
Look
like
at this.
why.
Look at this one. Look at this one. Look.
Oh my god, dude! This title: 5 scary gnomes caught on camera.
Don't laugh too hard, bro. Before you know
That's
it, the
so
gnome's
sick.
gonna fucking visit you and be like, "Give me your firstborn."
Those people like they know it's funny. Like they're laughing with me. They're like, I know you think it's funny, but like, and it seems crazy, but like we have to deal with this. But I don't know. But to be clear, like on what they told me is that it's not like a gnome running around. It's like something's talking to them. And they're also, I also asked them, like, do you think there's that gnomes exist? And they're like, it doesn't really matter. They're basically saying that, like, if you're putting that out there, they compared it to a 1-900 number. Like, you know, those old, like, party chat lines? Like, you'd, like, call this number and, like, talk to, like, somebody sexy, like a horny person, like, in your area. And it would, like, link you with somebody. They're, like, saying it's, like, one of those hotlines where, like, if you're reaching out, like, something's going to pick up, but you don't know what it's going to be. And it's probably going to be bad.
This person says the hubris of people who have never experienced paranormal shit is honestly just funny to me. It's easy to be condescending about it when you've had to deal with that kind of fear and confusion firsthand. Epic Reddit atheist shit is just really a coping mechanism. It's easy to dismiss it as schizo shit and believe that stuff wouldn't happen until you experience it, especially when there's others around to corroborate it.
Dude, I agree with that 100%. And that's why the Neil deGrasse Tyson stuff, like, bothers me. But I mean, it's mostly because I've talked to so many people, like, so many, like, quote unquote normal people who have just had, like, a specific experience in their life that's unexplainable and terrifying. And it's like, it affects their life a lot of times. So it's weird to just, like, completely invalidate it from that position. It's annoying. And usually, like, useless. It's like, man, like, if you don't believe it, like, that's fine. Like, go do something else. Who cares?
I think if you have a lot of motivation to see shit, you're going to see it. That's what I think. And I don't know if it means it's real or not.
Don't worship gnomes. My number one. That's also, Ouija boards is, like, the number one thing I've heard never to do.
Top 10 scary ghost videos to ruin sleepy time.
Oh my God. Dude, the shit on YouTube is so funny, so fake too. I mean, obviously, but, like,
nothing paranormal or supernatural
over the reverse lights. So I'm going to show you what the stock reverse lights look like, and then I'm going to uncover.
Okay, I don't even want to look at it. It is going to ruin my sleepy time.
No, dude, that shit
it's gonna ruin my sleepy time, and I don't want to ruin it.
And that stuff makes me mad too, because it's like, when there's so much fake stuff out there, like, most stuff put out there is, like, fake clickbait. You know, it like, for anybody that does experience something, it just makes them feel more crazy, you know? That's like, they never talk about it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm just more so afraid that I'm gonna start fucking believing in it, and then I'm gonna be motivated to see it. And, like, I've gone for 31 years without, like, having these scary ghost sightings or anything like that.
Well, don't be scared. There's nothing to worry about.
Bro, what do you mean? Of course I'm fucking worried. Like, I'm worried that I'm gonna start seeing shit. You know,
it can't hurt you. That's how to not be scared.
That's what you think.
Every expert I've talked to says it can't hurt you. It can only, like, deceive you into hurting yourself.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, I don't
know if I'm telling that to you or the chat, or who needs it more, you know?
I definitely need it too. I definitely need it.